A Moment with Dr. Audreyann Moses.
Hello, how are you doing? This is Dr. Audreyann Moses, and we are on Audreyann's Moments. Today we're going to talk about time management and procrastination. I know we all can talk about that because I know that we all have moments when we are trying to get something done, and then the next thing you know, the day is gone and we haven't finished anything that we were planning to do. So I know that we all have times when we can definitely say we have wasted time. And time is something you can't replace. You can't get it back. You can't recover. So the best thing to do is to try to use our time wisely and to not procrastinate, not put off. You know, as we were growing up, our parents always said, don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. You know, I can make up my bed tomorrow. No, make up your bed now, because tomorrow you're going to have to make it up again anyway. So, you know, just do what we can today and then do the rest tomorrow. And we talked in earlier segments about having a way of managing our time and managing our projects and everything on our SMART chart. Well, this is another thing that will help us to create a good goal and good objectives for whatever our plans are, to be able to manage our time a little bit better. I am the worst because sometimes I will start several projects at the same time, which is still not good, because if you're doing too many things at one time, then you are not doing all of them to your best ability. So we're going to try to learn a little bit about how to manage our time and manage our procrastination. Time management. How many of you have heard of the 80-20 rule? Basically, the 80-20 rule says that 80% of our anything can sometimes be overruled by 20%. So if you are on a team working on a project, more than likely, if you pay attention, 20% of the people are doing all the work and the 80% are just doing minimal. Or you're looking at a relationship. We will love someone for 80% of them, their mood, their attitude, their love, the work they do, all of that, 80% of that, and then the other 20% we're like ill, you know. But we manage it. If we love that person, we manage to deal with that 20% that we don't like. Although there are some people who divorce over the 20%, which is horrible. We'll talk about that in another segment when we're talking about relationships. But we're going to talk about, in managing time, it says 80% of your results come from 20% of your focused effort. Now that's a good thing, because you don't have to spend as much time as you think getting things done. And sometimes we take all day doing one project because we're actually doing a whole bunch of other stuff within that project, instead of just sticking to the one thing. So now let's look at some of the questions, some things that we think about when we're trying to deal with time management. So when you are working on your tasks during the day, which of your tasks that you're actually working on has the highest priority? Do you prioritize what you're wanting to work on so that you can take care of the easiest things first and give you more time to work out the hard things, or the things that you know are going to take more time? It is easier sometimes. Sometimes it's easier to work on the quicker things first, things that are little projects. get those out of the way, or squeeze them in between a big project. So, if that's possible. But if your little project calls you from leaving where you are and going someplace else, then you have to think about the travel time. You have to think about the amount of time it's going to take once you get there. So we'll be right back and talk about this time management.
R&B, classic hits, gospel, southern soul, and jazz. What do they all have in common? I can tell you. Emerald City Radio. Tune in to Emerald City Radio at www.emeraldcityradio.com. Do you like Italian or Sicilian cooking? Well, check out Olive Branch Mediterranean and Italian Grill. They have a wide variety of calzones made with their handmade dough, so whether steak, veggie, ham, or Italian, just to name a few, you can't go wrong. They also have organic salads, Olive Branch kebabs, gyro, beef, or chicken shish kebabs, Olive Branch specialty pizzas, Olive Branch pastas. Yes, I know you're getting the picture. Olive Branch Mediterranean Grill. Dine in or take out. You can't go wrong. Let Olive Branch cater your next event. Stop by today. The Olive Branch is located 109 Birch Tree Drive, Greenwood. They're open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call them today, 864-407-4100. That's 864-407-4100. That's the Olive Branch.
Welcome back. So we were talking about time management and procrastination. So the first question I asked you was, do you prioritize your tasks that you have to do? And how do you do that? Do you do the smaller tasks first and then do the larger tasks, or do you mix it in some sort of way? So another question is, do you do you do stuff at the last minute? So yes, do you do stuff at the last minute? Most of us, if we are going to tell the truth, we are going to say yes. We may not do everything at the last minute, but there are some things we just keep putting it off because we think something else is more important. And then all of a sudden, today is the deadline or tomorrow is the deadline. You know, a prime example is April 15th was what? Tax day. You know, every year since I can ever remember, April 15th or sometime around April 15th is tax day. How many people do you know did not even start their taxes until the 14th at night or until the 15th in the morning during the day, in between all the other stuff that they had to do? They're trying to get their taxes in before midnight. A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. And another thing is Christmas time. You know, you're trying to, New Year's Eve, you're out shopping to get presents for 15 people, you know, because you just kept putting it off. So we always do that. Sometimes we take our tasks that we have to do during the day, and while we're prioritizing them, we kind of push things off to the side until we absolutely don't have a choice. And most of the time, that's not a good thing. And the reason it's not a good thing is, number one, when you're rushing to get something done, you're going to miss something. Number one. And number two, it's very stressful. And the whole idea of making a priority list is to eliminate stress. So while we're eliminating stress, let's also remember not to push things off until the absolute last, you know, that procrastination. Let's not put it off until the absolute last minute. Do you set aside time for planning and scheduling? So it's sort of like having a meeting to plan the meeting. Do you do that? You know, do you sit down with your calendar, with your planner, with your list of things to do, and sort of prioritize what you have to have done when? And I know you do it for some things. You do it for doctor's appointments. You do it for meetings and things that you have to have. You make sure that you're not double booking yourself in your planner. So do that for even household chores. My husband, one of his things that he likes is planning which days, which house he's going to do which household chores, you know, for the things that he does. So on Mondays he does this, on Thursdays he does that. So, you know, I mean, it works. It didn't work for me before we came along, but, you know, it does work to just say, okay, I know on Thursday I'm going to do laundry. You know, and so then you just have that day set aside for that, or at least you know while the clothes are in the washing machine, you can be doing something else. But on Thursday is laundry day. So make sure that you plan things and kind of strategize this. And if you are working with other people, you definitely have to do that, because everybody has their own planner and everybody has stuff in their own planner. So you have to marry those planners together so that as a group you get your work done. Do you know how much time you are spending on various projects? When you start a project, do you know how much time it's going to take to complete that project? And do you stick to that time period, or do you end up taking less time or more time? If you're taking less time, then that could be good as long as you're getting the whole project completed and you're not cutting corners, you know, or skipping parts or whatever. You don't want to do that. But if you literally can get that project done quicker than you thought, then that's great, because that gives you time to do things for yourself that you need to do that you may not have planned. We'll be right back.
Soul, R&B, classic hits, gospel, southern soul, and jazz. What do they all have in common? I can tell you. Emerald City Radio. Tune in to Emerald City Radio at www.emeraldcityradio.com.
Come on down to McCormick Tire and Oil. We open Tuesday through Saturday from 7:30 to to 5. And we specialize in oil, tires, and brakes, wheel bearings, CV axles. And but military discount is every day. And on Wednesday we have Senior Citizen Day. So come on down, McCormick Tire and Oil. We got everything you need. Thank you.
Tune in to the Quartet Show every Sunday at 8 p.m. with the Godfather Quartet, Brother Corey Johnson, on WCTL Channel 20. Come on and get you some of that good old hand-clapping, foot-stomping music. Again, that's the Quartet Show with the Godfather Quartet, Brother Corey Johnson.
We're back. Now we're talking about procrastination and time management. I have another question for you. Are you stressed about your deadlines and your commitments? Have you overbooked yourself or double booked yourself? Mainly because if like me, when I double book myself, is because I wasn't looking at my planner and I wasn't looking at my phone. Now, since we have planners in our phones, then I try to duplicate the information in my phone and on my planner. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I try to do that, and that way I'm not duplicating time, overbooking. But one thing that I know I do is I take on too much at one time. So if you're taking on too much at one time, then you're becoming overwhelmed. Your plate is overflowing, and I know the Bible says that God's love for us overflows our cup. That's a good thing. But when our plate is overflowed with work, that's a bad thing, because we are not giving ourselves an opportunity to breathe. We're not giving ourselves an opportunity to do each project to our best ability, and we're just sort of cutting corners and everything just to try to get everything done. And worse, we are stressing ourselves completely out, and again, that's affecting our health physically and mentally and spiritually. So we have to really be careful about overwhelming ourselves and filling our plates up too much. Make sure that if we're putting something on, that we have completed something that we can take off, so we are not overtaxing ourselves. Do you regularly confirm your priorities with the other people that you are working with? If you're working on a project, do you meet just so that you can make sure that the project is on task, that you are continuing to move in the right direction? If you're doing something by yourself, are you going back and reevaluating what has to be done, what has already been done, and what is still, what is still pending? So, and the time frame that is still required in order to complete that task, along with the other tasks you have on your list. And sometimes you might have to redirect or rearrange your priorities. If this project is almost completed and you're completing it early and you can move something up priority, then do that. Or just complete it, get it out of the way, and then that way you can move to whatever your next thing is. But what we don't want to do is to bunch a whole lot of things in together. And we don't want to miss looking at our list, looking at our plans, looking at our planner, and making sure that we are on task with everything. It's that way you don't have to, we were talking about waiting to the last minute. That way things don't fall in through the cracks. We don't miss something that ends up being really important. And please make sure the January 1st, the first thing you should do with your planner is put in everybody's birthday that's important to you, put in all of the anniversaries, put in who's graduating, put in who's getting married, babies that are coming, Make sure all of that is in your planner before you start putting business in your planner. Because when it all boils down to the bottom of the pot, your family and your close friends are more important than that business. And when you are having a difficult time with that business, your family and your friends are going to be the ones that's going to be your support, your emotional support to help you to work through it. But if you are working through everything that involves your family, then, why should your family be there for you? Make sure you are always there for them. If your children or your nieces or nephews are having sports, put it in there so that you can make arrangements to see them. So we will be right back.
Do you like Italian or Sicilian cooking? Well, check out Olive Branch Mediterranean and Italian Grill. They have a wide variety of calzones made with their handmade dough, so whether steak, veggie, ham, or Italian, just to name a few, you can't go wrong. They also have organic salads, Olive Branch kebabs, gyro, beef, or chicken shish kebabs, Olive Branch specialty pizzas, Olive Branch pastas. Yes, I know you're getting the picture. Olive Branch Mediterranean Grill. Dine in or take out. You can't go wrong. Let Olive Branch cater your next event. Stop by today. The Olive Branch is located 109 Birch Tree Drive, Greenwood. They're open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call them today, 864-407-4100. That's 864-407-4100. That's the Olive Branch. Badcock Home Furniture and More, located 716 Highway 28 Bypass, Abbeville, South Carolina, and 1302 Bypass 72 Northeast Greenwood. Call them at 864-366-5954.
Welcome back. While you're thinking about some of the questions I asked about how do you do your prioritization, how do you set your list up, how do you set up your planner so that you can get the tasks that you have to do done, let's talk about a little self-reflection, because there are different types of personality traits and things, and we're going to talk about that at another time. But right now what I want to talk about is what type of person are you when it comes to prioritizing what is important and what isn't. You have to really know how you function when it comes to plans that have to be made and things that have to be done. Are you the type of person that can make a list, make a to-do list, make a plan, and then stick by it? Or do you need someone to help you with that? If you need someone to help you with that, be vulnerable enough to ask for help. Hire a virtual assistant, or get your daughter or your son or your wife or your husband or somebody to help you to stay on track. Because when you are on track and when you are meeting your goals and you are making sure that your obligations are met and you're keeping your promises, that is all a part of what people see about you, your integrity, your the reflection that you give to the world. And so you want it to always be good, and you want people to know that you are a person of your word. So make sure that you set yourself in a position where people know that they can depend on you to be a person of your word. If you set a time frame, that you're going to do everything possible to stick to that time frame. The other thing you want to do is make sure that you don't split yourself into too many different directions. And don't shame yourself into doing or not doing something. Don't blame yourself if you can't. If you absolutely cannot do something, then be vulnerable enough to say you cannot do it, or ask for help to get someone else to assist you in finishing whatever that project is. If you take on a project knowing that you cannot complete that project, that is not good. And then you're going to feel guilty, which you should feel guilty because you knew you weren't able to do it in the first place, and you could have asked for help and you didn't. So don't put that added stress on yourself or on other people. Ask for help. Make sure that if you are in a project with other people, that you do your part. And if your teammate is struggling, help your teammate. Because when it's about the whole team, it's not about what you can do and they can't do, or vice versa. So the whole team should help each other to meet whatever the goal is that you have set for whatever projects you all are working on. And this goes for your professional life, your personal life, your spiritual life, your family life, everything that involves you. This managing your time and learning not to procrastinate will be an added help to making that successful. One of the things the last thing I want to talk about is making sure that you maintain your spiritual strength. Those of you that have been watching the show know how important it is to me that we maintain our spiritual strength, because our spiritual strength helps us to complete the task that we need to do for that day or that week or that month. It helps us to be able to help others. It helps us to maintain our stress level so that we are not getting sick physically or emotionally. Because with spiritual strength comes the ability to do pretty much anything else we want to do, because God is going to be there to help us. The Holy Spirit is going to be there to help us, and is going to provide that strength that we need in order to complete whatever our task is. So this is Dr. Audreyann Moses, and I have been, it's been a blessing to me to be able to spend some time with you. You can reach me at neversaycan't@yahoo.com. It's neversaycan't, CAINT, no apostrophe, @yahoo.com, or my website, Transition Life Coach for You, is the number 4 letter U.com. There you will find information about my classes, my counseling, and my books. Thank you very much, and be blessed.
Barrett's Tire Store, located 3301 Highway 25 North, Hodges, South Carolina. Call them at 864-374-3183. Barrett's Flower and Convenience Store, Silk Cemetery Arrangements, snacks, hot dogs, and barbecue, gas, diesel, kerosene, and propane. Call them at 864-374-5555. Soul, R&B, classic hits, gospel, southern soul, and jazz. What do they all have in common? I can tell you. Emerald City Radio. Tune in to Emerald City Radio at www.emeraldcityradio.com.